Greetings, ladies. Hello, Nina. How are you? Are you at the airport?
I am.
Hello there.
Hi.
I commend your efforts. You're flying away to a bar mitzvah. Lucky you. Lots of
Yeah.
dancing. Yes.
Morning.
I'm jealous, Nina. All right. So take in what you can. When do you fly out?
10 p.m.
Okay. So you've got a little bit of time. So we could probably get this live all the way through. All right. Well, welcome, Nina. Hi, Simone. Do you want to just say a quick hello? Hello, Simone.
Hi, my background is very noisy.
It's noisy. Oh, okay. That's all right. I just wanted to see your face, Simone, but welcome. Do you want to say
My background is dark too because I'm not I'm still working.
Oh, cozy. It looks cozy there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all rugged up. You're all rugged up, ready to go. All right. Well, I'll let you unmute yourself, darling. Ruth, I haven't seen you for ages. Happy New Year, my darling. Do you want to say a quick hello? Ruth.
Hello, how's everyone?
Hello. Hi, Ruth.
It's so good to be here. I finally have a day that I can get on.
Love this. I love the red lipstick. You're looking very luscious there with the red lips.
Thank you.
Very sexy lady. How have you been? What's been happening? Happy New Year.
Just life.
Life.
Just taking care of my parents and working and all the things. So
okay. Well, welcome. I know you can always throw your pearls of wisdom on this topic, so feel free to jump in at the end. I also wanted to welcome Eleanor. Do you want to say a quick hello? You can unmute, say hello. Maybe not, but welcome anyway. All right, I'm going to make a start, ladies. So I'll get you to just unmute and, if you want to turn your cameras off, that's totally fine. But when I do finish the presentations, I will get you to put your questions directly to me. So turn your cameras back on and unmute yourselves and we will have a chat because I really feed off your faces. So Tonight, we're going to be talking about detoxification and should you detox before getting pregnant? Now, as a doctor of Chinese medicine, I literally get asked this question all the time. Now, if we look back 20 years ago, I may have said no without hesitation. But, I've been practicing for almost 25 years now. And shockingly, over the last 3 decades, I would say, we started to see so many toxins play a role in the incidence of, conditions like eczema and autism, and we're seeing the rise of this, ADHD, learning disabilities, even obesity, type 2, diabetes, we've got autoimmune diseases and even cancer. Now, a lot of these studies are showing that toxins play a role in the incidences of these conditions. So, our next generation, if we even look at our, the life expectancy has declined compared to our own. So I'm going to go through a few studies and we're just going to get some research behind what I'm saying, and then we'll jump into, my advice moving forward. So if we look at the Columbia Center for Children's Environmental Health, now this was a study I looked at and it was in the journal, The Environmental Health Perspectives. And what they found, the researchers found that phthalates heighten the risk of childhood asthma to more than 70% among children exposed during pregnancy. And that's when they used an array of household products. And, they were collecting the metabolites in spot urine collected by 300 pregnant inner city women. So it was quite disturbing, isn't it? When you look at these studies. So you can see that, just that study alone, that we can see that, in this article, I like the word that they used. In the article, they say that exposures are ubiquitous. Don't you love that word? Ubiquitous, ubiquitous. I love it. It means they are present. They're appearing everywhere. All right. So, just look around. Phthalates are everywhere. You can just look around your home, even. You can find them everywhere. All right. So we're going to talk a lot about phthalates, but let's get started in terms of understanding your body burden, your kids' health. Now, if you look at, just many health problems, they begin long before birth because of, we're getting that toxic exposure in the womb. So, we call this, they're not just getting our genes, we're getting this maternal fetal transfer, they call it. And this is a it's pretty much a constant toxic streaming download of the body burden of chemicals we've accumulated, not just through our lives, but what we're exposed to during pregnancy. So, if we look at pregnancy itself, it increases the mobilization of a number of stored chemicals, particularly the heavy metals, for example, lead, which cross the placenta and they get to our babies. So it's documented, in that mother's stores of, common fat-soluble environmental chemicals. These are known as PCBs and dioxins that are released during pregnancy. They can expose the fetus to harm. Now, another study that I looked at, this was published in 2014, it looked at pregnant women and their fetuses and how they were exposed to triclosan and its cousin triclocarbon. Now, these are both endocrine disruptors, and through the use, we've been using them through, antibacterial soaps and toothpaste. And, there's, in this article, they looked at 2,000 common, consumer products like toothpaste, soaps, detergents, carpets, paints, school supplies and toys. And, pretty much what the researchers found is that the triclosan was found in all of the urine samples from the pregnant participants. That's all of them. Every single one had the triclosan, and half of the umbilical cord samples had the triclosan. So, it's transferring to the fetuses. Now, triclocarbon was also found in many of the samples. But, these findings, I got very disturbed, because it's like, it leads to developmental and reproductive problems. And then it's like, it leads to antibiotic resistance. And we're seeing this in hospitals. So another article I looked at, this was the Environmental Working Group, the EWG. They conducted a study in 2009 analysing umbilical cord blood. And they detected, not only just, they were up to 232 industrial chemicals and pollutants that were across the samples, which, included the phthalates, the BPAs. It's pretty, and if you look at the BPAs, it's like a synthetic estrogen. So, it is quite disturbing. So endocrine disruptors, as we know, we've done a talk on this a couple of sessions before, but it affects the way our hormones function in our bodies. And this can have not just, major impact on the fetus, but also in, their sexual differentiation and development. Now, we're seeing across the board, there's a lot of birth defects of the sexual organs of babies. Now, we're seeing this particularly with boys, and that have increased dramatically over the years. Now, let's just break down the triclosan. They call it TCS or triclocarbon, TCC. Now, why are they harmful? Because, it's absorbed through the skin and it can come through the oral tissues. Now, it's detected in the urine, it's detected in the breast milk, the umbilical cord blood. They're finding, it's in the amniotic fluid. So it's showing that fetal exposure. It's in the water supplies, it's in our aquatic environments. Now, back in 2017, the FDA, this is great. It banned triclosan and triclocarbon in over-the-counter hand soaps, but we're still finding it in toothpaste and cosmetics and household products. So, we've got this pool of toxins, and particularly when we're pregnant, it can really cross that barrier, that blood-brain barrier, that fetal transfer. So, we're getting these genetic and metabolic events that, literally, it's what we're paying for throughout the children's lives. So we've got to take heed and, take note. So even if we look at another reason why we might need to do a detoxification protocol, like if we look back in 2002, they had, the stats were 15% of women experienced infertility, which was 36% increase compared to 1982. Now, the jury's, the scientific community does remain divided a little bit on this point, but what's universally accepted is that environmental toxins and endocrine disruptors are linked to fertility challenges. So if you look at it like this, if toxins contribute to infertility, then logically we want to reduce the toxin exposure before conception. It makes sense, doesn't it? So the question is, it isn't should we detox, but how and when do we detox to do it safely? So before I jump into how we're going to do it and when, I just want to go over the American Congress, right? The American Congress of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, the ACOG. Now, they've just recently issued a historically unprecedented clarion call asking obstetricians to inform pregnant women of ways to avoid potential toxic environmental exposures in light of some of this scientific evidence that I've presented earlier. All right, so what they've recommended, that when gynecologists and obstetricians are talking to patients, they're encouraged to talk about this exposure to environmental toxins and how it can negatively impact your fertility and contribute to things like miscarriage and impair fetal development. So, across the board, we're now having to, our duty of care is to inform our patients. So the ACOG recommends that obstetrician include discussions about environmental health as part of routine prenatal care. Now, this includes practical advice on minimising exposure, and we're going to go through this, the things that we're going to minimise through our diet, using safer household products, and avoiding any known, sources of toxins. But, the advisory suggests that, these are the preventative strategies that they recommend. And this is just, choosing organic foods where possible, avoiding plastics. This is your phthalates, all right, which are known to leach the chemicals, and using environmentally friendly personal care products. They're the three takeaways on the ACOG's guideline. So, you can look them up. It's on acog.org, www.acog.org. And you can go over these clinical guidelines. So let's jump into how we would plan a detoxification. When should we start? So we need to rewind. And this comes back to my preconception care. So we want to be starting 6 months prior to when you're actually going to start. So it's about 6 months of adopting all of these principles of, starting with, getting the lifestyle factors and the nutrition. So 6 months, and we want to do this, rinse and repeat for 6 months before you actually actively start. Now, my top suggestions, the basics, in addition to the obvious things that we need to avoid. So I think we all know we want to avoid smoking because we talked about toxins. Smoking is my number one. We need to get rid of the smoking. Alcohol, excessive caffeine, or eliminating caffeine. Like, they're the three big ones. But then in addition, we want to avoid things like fried, greasy foods, heavily processed foods. We want to avoid excessive consumption of dairy because it's a lot of inflammation. Not everyone can tolerate dairy. So I just take it out of the mix. And that way you don't have to worry. Am I lactose intolerant? Most people can't tolerate excessive consumption of dairy. So just reduce your dairy. We want to avoid refined sugars, artificial sweeteners. Like, they're the basics. And then it's like we're going to follow the guidelines of the ACOG. What are we going to do? Number one is eat organic as much as possible. We want to drink our clean filtered water. Glass is the new plastic. That's my motto for 2025. Glass is the new plastic. So drinking out of your glass, get in your glass bottles, get rid of the plastic. Right? Plastic water bottles. We need to ban them. Like, it should be a global ban on plastic water bottles. I've actually been looking at this new hydrogen water bottle, and it's like, hydrogen water. Oh, my goodness. I don't know if you've heard about hydrogen water. You get hydrogen drops, but they've now got these really ritchy-ditch hydrogen bottles. They're about $175, but I think it's a well worth investment. Like, I've just got some hydrogen tablets, and that's $60 for the packet. So I just think 3 packets, and there's my hydrogen bottle. So let's start to investigate some alternatives. So organic. We want the clean filtered water, glass. We want to just look at your low mercury fish, all right? Because mercury is like that number one, that heavy metal that's crossing that placenta. So what's low mercury fish? Let's just go over it, all right? Like wild caught salmon. Your sardines. If anyone has got sardines, but if you can't get fresh sardines, you get canned sardines. Now, I got some fresh sardines. I made a Sicilian gluten-free pasta for my husband yesterday. It was delicious with fennel. I mean, amazing. And what I did is I filleted. I took the bones out of the sardines and I made this incredible Sicilian pasta for my husband. And so other things that are low mercury fish. So we've got anchovies. What else? We've got mackerel, rainbow trout, herring. And then we just want to then look at what are the high mercury? What's high mercury? So shark and swordfish and orange roughy, right? These are all high mercury. So we want to know what's high and what's low. All right, we want to go low mercury fish. We want a diversity. This is when I'm talking to my fertility patients, diversity. So plant-based, largely, like, when we're thinking of, your veggies, a rainbow of color. So colorful, leafy veggies, good quality protein. All right, we want healthy fats. We need them for your hormones. So olive oil, coconut oil, avocado, good quality carbohydrates. So it could be brown rice, sweet potato, organic berries, nuts, and seeds. And I mean, this is the diet to eat, folate-rich food. We need it not only for our avoiding neural tube defects, and spontaneous abortion, but we need it for, the lining. We need it for equality. We need folate to be a healthy, functioning human being. All right. So, for your red blood cells. But so foods that are high in folate, what are they? All right. Dark leafy greens, beans, broccoli, lentils. Okay. So use food as medicine. I'm very big on food as medicine because that's the thing you can control. That's what you're controlling going into your mouth. And remember, food is far superior than any supplement that you can use. All right. So in addition, we want to look at bitter greens because we want to think of, what do bitter greens do? Well, they promote bile excretion. They help move toxins out. So they're found in radishes. I like the crunch of radishes. I just use them as a snack. Sometimes I will dip them in some hummus. So I just find them when I've been training, I really love them as a snack. But, it's also found in dandelion and mustard greens. Now I prefer you to cook them rather than to juice them, because in fertility we want a warm womb, warm food, cooked food, as opposed to juicing. Because when you juice things, it's the thermal nature of it's cold. So I would prefer you to cook, blanch, saute, stir fry, steam your bitter greens. All right. Cruciferous vegetables. Why do we need the cruciferous vegetables? Well, they're high in diindole methane, and this helps all your detoxification pathways. So, you'd be found in your broccoli and your kale and your Brussels sprouts, your cauliflower, your bok choy. So cruciferous is in for your liver. Just think, there's your liver. Smile at your liver, right? Give your liver some love with some cruciferous vegetables. Then we want B vitamin-rich food because it supports all your major detoxification pathways. So your Bs, the things that I love that's rich in vitamin B is your liver. I don't know if you can use liver as food, but it's some of my patients find it's very difficult. So some beef liver capsules, you can do it that way, or you can do a B complex supplement. This is another way. All right, but let's look at more foods to support detoxification pathways. Lemon peel. It's rich in limonene. It's an activator and a methylation pathway to detoxification. So I use lemon peel. We often call it lemon zest. So you can grate it, put it in your dressings, put it in your baking, put it in your casseroles, grate it onto your soups instead of your Parmigiano Reggiano. I want you to grate it. Do it lime zest. I don't mind. Anything citrusy. So it could be tangelos, it could be mandarins, it could be grapefruits, right? But the peels, they work on your methylation and your detoxification pathway. So they're amazing. Choline, we need this, all right? So it's found in eggs and avocados, but it helps support methylation, all right? So choline-rich food, eggs are number one. Sulfur-rich food. So sulfur, it supports your detoxification pathways as well. It's found in, things like broccoli and onions and garlic. It's also found in your MSM supplement. Sometimes I have patients that use MSM as a supplement before they train. What else? Vitamin C, because we look at vitamin C. It helps the glutathionation detoxification pathway. So I love goji berries in Chinese medicine. goji berries have the highest amount of vitamin C. So I've been using goji berries in a tea. So you can have like a tablespoon, boil some water and drink the goji berry tea. And then you can actually eat the goji berries, put them into your oatmeal, your warm oats. All right. But goji berries are amazing. They're like little raisins, but bright red. So they're very nourishing of the kidney young. They're nourishing of the blood. So yeah, but high source of vitamin C. So we need this for your detoxification pathways. Selenium. I was talking to Nina today on a coaching call, and she says, one of her snacks is she has her Brazil nuts with her avocado. Well done, Nina. I love this. Now, 1 to 2 Brazil nuts is around 61 to 91 micrograms of selenium. Selenium helps break toxins down. That's what I love about it. And, for fertility, we're wanting about 400 micrograms daily. That's the upper tolerable limit. So having 2 to 3 Brazil nuts is great. But other sources of selenium, we've got sardines, anchovies, chicken breast, herring, turkey meat. What else? Mustard, curry powder, milk thistle, turmeric. All right, all of these things contain selenium. Sea vegetables are another favorite of mine. I've been really just jumping into them. Like I've been using the dulse flakes. It looks a bit like bacon, tastes like bacon. It's got the saltiness of bacon. So I'll often make it, instead of having a bacon, lettuce, tomato, avocado, I call it a blat. I've been using dulse instead of the bacon. And I've been getting the dulse in the flakes because it's got the highest amount of protein. But if we look at what sea vegetables do for detoxification, they are a chelator of heavy metals. So if you haven't tried dulse, get some dulse, sprinkle it on your potatoes, on your scrambled eggs, on your soups. It's like the lemon zest. All right. But you can use kombu, arame, wakame, nori. Okay, these are, you can use them in just casseroles. I use a lot of, if I'm using arame or wakame, I'll use them in the soups and in my casseroles or a stew. So try these things, put them in your soups. Let's just give it a go. It doesn't just have to be about putting it in the miso soup, right? So be creative, all right? Castor oil packs. Now, all my patients know that I talk about castor oil packs probably every coaching call because, in the follicular phase, we're using them, all right, after you finish your period, we're using them in the follicular phase. So the last day of your period until ovulation, then we stop. So, but castor oil packs, what I'll get you often to do, especially if we're doing a detoxification, I'll get you to do 20 minutes under the liver on the right side and then 20 minutes down on the womb space. All right, so you can make these. You can make them yourselves. You can make it with a piece of flannel. Voila, one piece of flannel, soak it in some castor oil, put it on the belly or the liver, and then literally you can throw it into a jar. That one pack will last you 20 to 30 times. So it's the cheapest remedy to detoxify, for detoxification pathways and to detoxify. So castor oil packs, and you can do them daily, especially in that follicular phase, all right? And if you're actually not trying to conceive, you can do them all the way through. But ideally, I like to stop them after ovulation just because as we're getting towards the period, we tend to, we're not sure if you're going to be pregnant or not. So, ideally stop at ovulation. But if we're doing a detoxification, we're not trying to conceive, we're avoiding pregnancy, you can do them all the way, just avoid when you're bleeding. Because when you're bleeding, it can actually increase blood flow. So it can, we don't want that. All right. So we want the blood to flow without it becoming like menorrhagia or metorrhagia. All right. Other strategies, magnesium oil. Now, this is a great relaxer and it's a facilitator of metabolic pathways and detoxification pathways. So similarly to the castor oil packs, you can spray your magnesium chloride around the liver. And you can do it on the entire belly, all right? And you can apply that. I usually get my patients to apply at bedtime, all right? Now, that can be done daily all the way through. You can mix it with coconut oil, sesame oil, or almond oil. If it stings your skin, Now, this is the big takeaway with the magnesium. If it is stinging the skin, then you actually are magnesium depleted. So we need more of it. All right. So it's not only just a great relaxer, but it's a great detoxifier as well. Other strategies, Epsom salt baths, because it helps you open up the detoxification pathways. So soaking. So you could soak. I get my patients to soak 2, 3, 4 times a week, and I add in my, ultra detox bath remedy, which is 2 cups of Epsom salts, half a cup of bicarb soda, and 10 drops of essential oil, which is your lavender oil. And it's literally like having Valium in the bath, herbal Valium, better than Valium. Amazing. So we do this in the process of not just supporting fertility, but helping detoxification pathways indirectly. We're getting through the list. There's a big, long list, but these are all the things you can start to implement. I want you to think about what's resonating with me, and I want you to try some of these things. So it could be an infrared sauna. You may have them at your gym. They're good for general detoxification. Lymphatic drainage. All right. So this is where we're using, you could do a lymphatic drainage massage. You can do some dry brushing. The exfoliation improves blood circulation and helps lymphatic drainage. But then it's looking at all your products. So I really like using the EWG.org, Environmental Working Group. Now, you just want to look at, avoid the toxic cosmetics and body products, avoid the toxic household cleaners, and just do a product and brand toxicity check on EWG.org. All right. And then we're almost there, aren't we? All right. In addition, we want to avoid flame retardant chemicals and plastic food containers, and just get into a healthy weight for your body. So I'm not talking about massive weight loss or going on the pen or anything like crazy, but I'm just saying if you start to actually eat like this, your body will naturally lose weight. All right. Okay. In addition, we'll talk a little bit about some supplements that I might recommend while you're doing your detoxification protocol. So, we're always going to start with we want nourishment. So I'll always start with your prenatal vitamin that has your methylfolate. This is your active form of your vitamin B9. All right. Now, it's important to support natural detoxification. We want to have an omega-3, which is beneficial for your baby's nervous system, but which is also important for women as you go into pregnancy. Vitamin D, we need that because most of us are really deficient in vitamin D, and it helps prevent gestational diabetes and also reduces oxidative stress on the baby when you do become pregnant. So they're kind of like my top 3 that you want to do as nourishment. But then detoxification-wise, we'll be looking at things like N-acetylcysteine, we call it NAC, or glutathione in the liposomal form. Okay, now it helps, these 2 products, they help transform toxic forms of chemicals being eliminated by the liver into less toxic, more excretable forms. So NAC and glutathione are my 2 number ones. All right, so I can't kind of differentiate which one I like the best because they're both great. NAC is a precursor to glutathione, so I'll often prescribe the NAC, but the liposomal glutathione is amazing as well. So, just see how you go. Try one or the other. But your B complex, these are, important. Herbs like curcumin, turmeric. This is, your turmeric milk. Milk thistle is another one. Dandelion or artichoke extract. These are some supplements that you can do to support the liver. And then we'll look at some, supplements to address those endocrine disrupting chemicals. So this is when I'm using these supplements, I don't tend to keep you on these long term. All right, that's the big takeaway. All right, so when I'm working on the EDC, so often when you're doing the 6 months protocol, we'll start the heavy part of the detox for maybe 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 2 months at a stretch, maybe 3 months if it's severe toxicity. All right. But each case is case by case. But just know when we're doing those, when we're using some of these products that I'm going to mention, all right, we don't stay on them long term. So activated charcoal, this helps attach to the heavy metals. Now, sometimes I might use zeolites for heavy metal detox. But, I'm seeing a lot of new research that's coming out about the zeolites. And I used to talk so much about, how much I loved zeolites, and they're great for washing your vegetables in. But, some of the research that I'm seeing now is that it can not only just attract, because it attracts to all the heavy metals, but it also can attract to some of your essential minerals that we need, like sodium and magnesium and potassium and zinc, all right, and calcium. So, if you do have, acidic stomach or gut issues, the zeolites might not be the best thing for you to do in your detox. It might be the activated charcoal is the best way to go. It's the safer option out of those two if you've got, acidic gut or gut issues or GERD or, something like that. Bentonite clay, it helps suck out toxins and repairs the intestinal tract. You've got the diatomaceous earth. It's another chelator that kills pathogens in the gut. We've got chlorella. It helps remove the heavy metals and toxins, and similarly, spirulina. I'm actually using a blue-green algae at the moment, and I find that it's really amazing. All right, so then we've got DIM. Now, I don't just say everyone go on DIM because, DIM can tank your estrogen, but if I'm, it's can help remove and metabolize estrogens, and especially when we've got endocrine disruptors that are maybe giving you some estrogen dominance. Again, DIM is a case-by-case thing, but it's found naturally in your cruciferous vegetables. So I'd rather you actually eat the DIM than take the DIM, all right, because then it won't systemically tank your estrogen. We always want the estrogen levels optimal. So DIM is a case-by-case thing. My favorite one, if I'm going to go DIM or calcium deglucarate, I find that it supports the glucuronidation detoxification process, and where you've got that estrogen dominance without it reducing it too quickly. So I tend to prescribe calcium deglucarate when I'm seeing that. So what else can you do? All right, a couple more things. Support your gut health. So use things like fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi. It could be cashew or coconut yogurt, a good probiotic. What else? You could use some Canadian bitters. I often recommend this to my patients to support the liver function, improve the digestion. Address the stress. Now, this is a big thing because you want to, stress. We want to, de-stress. So pause, breathe, relax. Now, there could be meditation, getting better sleep, 7 to 9 hours, journaling, exercise, time in nature. Laughter is the best medicine. You could try some adaptogens, ashwagandha, reishi, licorice, maca, acupuncture. So I use often, if I'm doing a detoxification protocol, we call this the 4 gates, liver 3 and large intestine 4. So this is the same as the feet, between the big toe and the second toe. So this is the 4 gates. We've got the triple burner here, Sanjiao 6. It's located on the forearm, and it really assists in the removal of waste products. So literally 4 finger breaths down in the midline, and we often use this for relieving constipation, and I'll often combine it with stomach 25 just beside the navel if I'm doing acupuncture. Again, Chinese herbal medicine is great for detoxification. We often use the goo formulas, so I will often work 3 cycles. If there's parasites and I've got serious brain fog, and you may have dysbiosis, loose bowels, abdominal cramping, reflux, skin conditions, like signs of lipotoxicity that I'm looking for in Chinese medicine is migraines, headaches. You may have blood sugar dysregulation or cyclical or hormonal problems. So, I can do that protocol with the Chinese herbal medicine. But I think I'm going to conclude with the sleep, because sleep, if you're not sleeping well, you've got an increase of inflammatory markers, blood sugar dysregulation, high cortisol. It affects ovulation, menstrual regularity, egg quality. So poor sleep can impair the body's ability to eliminate toxins. So I always try to enhance deep restorative sleep. I think that's the big takeaway. I wanted to finish with sleep because it's number 1 for detoxification. So we want to be asleep or be in bed at 10, lights out at 10, ideally asleep by 10:30, 11. So that means avoiding all your screen time before bed, getting, a nice nighttime routine, avoiding any stimulants like alcohol, sugar, caffeine. especially in the afternoon or the early evening. So, in Chinese medicine, deep sleep is not just about feeling rested. It's about allowing your body to cleanse, to repair, and to rejuvenate. So sleep in Chinese medicine is number one, especially for regulating cycles, balancing hormones, and improve fertility outcomes. So we've covered a lot today. Woo! We've covered a lot, like eating clean, supporting your gut, managing stress, improving your detoxification pathways, reducing exposure. So you can see there's a lot to do. That's why we need about 6 months solid of implementing all of this. And ideally, I'd love a 3-month window. So you can see 9 months is an ideal time. I know we don't have 9 months, but we've all got 6 months. So this is where you can take away from today. Our bodies, just know this, our bodies have an incredible ability to heal, to detoxify, and to restore balance. I mean, this is what we're designed to do as human beings. So we just want to I think the key is not about perfection. It's about consistent, mindful changes. So, it's not just about preparing for your pregnancy now. It's also about, the profound impact on your offspring and your future family. So I encourage you to take this knowledge and empower yourself and to implement just even 2 key takeaways from today. So thank you for being here today. Appreciate your time, your commitment to your health and your fertility, and your openness to the conversation. So now let's open up the floor to the Q&A. Feel free to ask me anything. Remember to unmute. Are there any questions for me? Ruth, anything for me? Any shares? Anything?
I had questions along the way, but it's kind of, I'm like looking through my notes to see if I can find it. A couple of just.
Hello. Hi, Tiana. Go, Ruth.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Oh, go ahead. I'll let her go.
Go, Deanna. You go first, and then Ruth can look through her notes. Go for it.
Okay, I just wanted to ask a question because I've seen recently on social media, maybe it's the algorithm I'm in, where it talks about how the man is building like his genetics and his health has a lot to do with like building the placenta and like miscarriages, early miscarriages, and some other things. So I was wondering if you could just speak about that.
Sure. Well, if you look at it like this, we all bring 50% of the DNA to the equation. So, when we're doing this protocol, this goes for the guys as well. We need to clean things up because this is what they're bringing to the equation. Yeah, 50% of the DNA. So it means that we need to work on their detoxification pathways. We need to work on their improved circulation and blood flow, right? We're seeing a lot of, low motility, low morphology. We're seeing a decline in sperm counts. Globally, there's a global decline of sperm of 1% per year. So, yeah, it is a real problem. And often the guys they tend to need a bit of a tidy up. They tend to carry a lot of inflammation. If you look at, why our testicles hang off the body is because our testicles need to be 4 degrees cooler than body temperature. Now, I've been getting my patients to do testicular readings because what we're finding is that there's no difference between the testicular reading and the body temperature. So, in essence, men are cooking their sperm, right? So it makes sense that we need to put the guys on an anti-inflammatory diet to apply some of these strategies of having more leafy greens and rich folate things. But yeah, I mean, because yes, they are part of providing 50% of the DNA.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ruth, we're coming back to you.
That was one of the questions I had, so thank you for asking that. That was one that I had forgotten. I had so many questions as we were going, and there was something that I was going to add, but I don't remember what it was. But when you were talking about the zest of lemons or citruses, could that be from the essential oils? So it could use essential oils
You can.
as a substitute for that. And then with the gojis that you say you cook to get the vitamin C, but isn't vitamin C heat sensitive? So it's not damaging it?
Well, yeah, yeah. The thing is with the goji berries, it's about taking it out. It's leaching it out of the goji berry. Yeah, through the boiling water. I mean, that's how we use it in Chinese medicine, is to take that into a tincture into the water and utilize it, and then you can eat the berries. Yeah. So you
Like you already cooked them, so put them in your, like, didn't you say in your oatmeal or something? Just put
Yeah,
them in that and
yeah,
make it
you
the
can.
taste.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't
Great
have to.
idea.
I use it in the tea and then I eat the berries, but you can just you don't even have to cook them. You can actually just put them straight in and eat them like raisins. They're delicious.
I like to put them in a trail mix that I take
Yeah,
to work.
yeah, perfect.
Just
Yeah, trail mix is perfect. Yeah, yeah, trail mix is awesome. Yeah, in Chinese medicine, we call it go qi go qi go qi and it's used for the kidney yang. So we use this largely in the luteal phase because that's the progesterone phase. So goji berries in the luteal phase after you've ovulated are a wonderful adjunct. And we want a warm womb in the progesterone phase. We want more warming, especially if you've got cold feet, cold hands. We want a warm womb. We want to support progesterone. So goji berries, work on the kidney yang, and they support the luteal phase and the progesterone. It's always good.
Awesome.
This is the Chinese medicine. I love this.
Wish I knew it all.
Yeah, look, I don't think you ever stop learning, Ruth. I mean, you as a caregiver and a provider, it's like, I just love this work because you can never embody all of it. And like Deanna says, there's always new research on socials, and we've got so many intelligent people that are doing a lot of research for us on socials that, it's the data's changing all the time. You've almost got to keep your finger on the pulse, which is why we open this.
I love the Detox coming out with these recommendations. It's about time.
Yeah.
But one thing that I find so paradoxical is that they're recommending the Tdap during pregnancy as well as the flu shot, and both of those have those really heavy adjuvant, deep, big heavy metals.
Yeah.
That also, you just said lead goes straight to the baby.
I know.
And it's stored in the brain, which is very disruptive. It's
a contentious issue. I know. It's just in Chinese medicine, like we avoid immunizations usually up until 2, because it takes about that long for the whole immune system and the digestive system to form. And it's not that I'm an anti-vax or anything like that. It's just that, we want to potentially have an evolved human being before we start putting pathogens in, particularly. So
right.
I tend to
during pregnancy, they're giving them those heavy metals through those vaccines.
I hear you and I feel you. At the end of the day, it's up to the pregnant woman's choice, but it's very hard to guide.
But are they informing them? It needs to be an informed choice.
An informed choice, absolutely, without a doubt. Yeah, Ruth.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions? Eleanor, you've joined us. Would you like to say hello? Would you like to ask a question, perhaps? Do you want to unmute yourself? Put your video on. Nina, any questions for me, darling?
Oh, sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. I joined a little late.
That's okay. Put your video on, Eleanor. Let's say hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Welcome. Greetings. It's nice to have you.
I've actually I bought your book.
Oh wow, beautiful. Wonderful.
Yeah. I've been through a very long journey. Sometimes if I talk about it, I get very emotional.
That's okay.
But
you're amongst the sisterhood here.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. Sorry.
It's okay. Darling, yeah, we're all here. We've got you. Like, let's all give Eleanor a virtual hug. Let's all give her a virtual hug, right?
Thank you. You're so sweet. So now I'm looking into acupuncture, and I looked it up, and it's near my home. I mean, it's a little further, but these doctors, the acupuncturists, he knows his stuff because he keeps asking me, what's my number? Is this and that? So for me, I'm like, okay, that's a good sign. So let's see. It's my last hope. Unfortunately, I had to do the egg donor route because, I know I read that, my egg quality wasn't as good as, it's supposed to, because the first time I did it, it didn't succeed. So then I had 3 eggs left. I had the two chemical miscarriages. So this will be my final one. So, I mean, she's a very good doctor. So let's see what's going to happen. So,
Well, Eleanor, like the acupuncture, so you're doing the donor for this next round? Is that what you're doing?
yes, because I bought egg and it's been that's another thing. It's been for my husband and myself a very expensive route too.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course. Yeah.
like digging into my savings, I had to get a loan,
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't want to put price on it, but it's time consuming,
Yeah.
financially burdened.
Yeah.
So
Well, my recommendation, Eleanor, is going to do the acupuncture is a great investment because you can do it pre-transfer and post-transfer. It improves blood flow to the lining. I have all my patients. They all do acupuncture.
That's what he's saying. He said that, and today, 'cause I also, I feel like the estrogen, like when I was doing the transfer, it stopped my period for 3 months because I was bleeding normal, but the doctor said you're going into premenopause. But my mom, she got her period at 16, so like for me, it's like, oh no, already having, but. She gave me my doctor today. I'm taking the progesterone so I could bring up my period because the lining is very good. She says I think the acupuncture is really helping me because they said, well, I've never seen this lining such a good lining. I'm like, oh. So I told the doctor, I guess the acupuncture is really working,
Great, darling. Yeah. Well, you can incorporate some of the things. Watch the replay, So even if you in my groups, are you in my group, my Facebook group?
Yeah, I read it. Yes, here and there. I see.
All right.
Yeah.
Reach out to me.
I mean, I see so many women like in my same position too, like struggling, and I feel them, and then I have a coworker. She's pregnant, and I'm always glad for them. But then it's like, what about me? What's happening? Like it's a struggle.
I want you to focus on you right now, not worry about everybody else. I want you to be a little bit selfish, shine that beautiful torch of light onto you, all right? And, listen to the replay because there might be some tools you might garner from what we talked about today, just some little things. But you're already on it, Eleanor. Yeah, I wish you all the best. And
Thank you so much.
If there's anything we can help you in the group, reach out. Ask a question.
Okay.
Even if you ask it anonymously, we'll give you lots of love.
I know. I found this other lady. She's an acupuncturist, and I'm using Mama. I don't know if you ever heard her. She does like the teas, the Mama fertility teas, but I feel like it doesn't. Like she has that Chinese. My God, it's like gong. It's red. Keep forgetting what it's called. I have it with me, but it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't work. So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when I prescribe the Chinese medicine, everyone has a differential diagnosis. I actually haven't prescribed the same tea for one person. Everyone has their own unique blend. A lot of the teas that they promote with these companies, just generic blend. Yeah. It's like a PreConception multivitamin. It's kind of like everyone can get benefit from it. You're getting some benefit. Yeah. But, if you want targeted Chinese herbs, you really need to see a practitioner that can design your own herbal prescription for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So ask your acupuncturist. They may even do the Chinese herbs because that could support you as well. Like I use a lot of warming herbs. Like I have a patient at the moment. She's doing a trigger.
Yeah.
So we use the herbs to support implantation and for that support. Yeah, they can be tailored for this particular part of the protocol. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eleanor, welcome. I'll be running these live, so jump in weekly. We're here to support you.
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. I mean, it's definitely worth it. And you have this pre-recorded on your website, on your Facebook group.
It'll be in the group, and it's also on my fertility channel on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's okay.
All right.
And this is talking about, this one is to prepare yourself before pregnancy, right? Because I stopped, I mean, I'm not a coffee person, but I always wanted to do the more, I have to have not even a cup, but a little bit of a cup, but I stopped I try to stop to drink coffee. It's hard.
It's hard. Well, if you like the lift of coffee, try
Yeah.
Rasa coffee. It's got ashwagandha and it's got the chaga and the
What's it called?
Rasa coffee. It's not
What is
caffeine. It's caffeine free. Rasa, Rasa coffee. You can get it on
R-A
Rasa.
R-A-Z-A or R-A-S?
Rasa. Rasa. It gives you that lift
Oh,
and it tastes like
okay.
coffee. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got
Okay.
ashwagandha. It's got adaptogen. So it's going to take care of your fertility, but it's going to give you that lift. And if you love it.
Oh, yeah, I
It-
do. I'm like, I got, because I stopped the coffee, like cold turkey.
yeah.
I had a bad headaches for like a whole week
Well, that's
because
what using the adaptogens, they're great. Now, if you like the taste of coffee, the other one I love is Ticino, spelled T-E-E-C-I-N-O, Ticino. And it's like, it's got chicory and figs and it's amazing. It tastes
Oh,
like
yeah.
coffee. Yeah?
I like figs because I'm Greek too, so figs is
Yeah.
good in my
There
blood.
you go. Well, go
Yeah.
try either one of those and then you're not going to be feeling like you're missing out. So it's about
Okay.
empowerment. All right? Ticino or
Oh,
Rasa.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much,
No
Dr.
worries. Okay. All right, ladies. I want to say thank you all this evening. Sweet good night. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again next week.
Okay, good night,
Bye.
Dr.
Good
Tiana.
night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Simone.
Bye.
Ciao, Ruth. Ciao, ciao.